Hey everybody, I'm gonna see if I can do this flippy thing. Hey, I can! Welcome everybody, I'm Joy. A lot of times I'm showing you my garden, so I know that you don't see my face and my crazy hair. Hey Dimitri. So today I wanted to, it might be maybe a 10-minute or so Periscope. I really want to talk about a few things. Hello Sad Farms again. A few things that could help you financially, time-wise, frustration-wise, and I want to get your input, some of your frustrations on weeding and maintenance, garden maintenance. I'm not so used to this. I probably should be looking here. Okay, I'm a Leo, so I'm staring at myself. I also have to look down at the comments. It's just hard. Anyhow. Okay, so weeding. We've been here about 20 months. And we put this stuff in, so I'm going to flip the camera around if it'll let me. If it cuts off, I'll start right back over and I just won't do that mess. But let's just see. Double tap to switchy. I feel so proud of myself. Okay, so we're over here again. We talked earlier, you're welcome to look, about the chickens that are doing my lazy weeding. And so you can see how thick. Let's start with how thick it gets. So here's some financial tips. I'm going to go all over the board with it. First, if you're doing a rock path, we paid about $70 a yard for this, and we didn't put a cloth underneath. That's a huge mistake. Cloth, garbage bags, even old cardboard boxes would have worked, and we actually did this in the chicken run, and the cardboard boxes have been there for a year and there's no weeds in that area. So there's several ways. Again, cardboard boxes, trash bags, old plastic bags that you have no way to recycle, any matter that's thin and resistant to get into the dirt. You can put that under your rocks, any rocks you have. I wish I hadn't done this, and you could mulch over it instead of doing rocks, and that's probably a lot cheaper too. I did this because our pond area, if we weedy, then things would go in the pond, or if we mowed, it would be more work for my husband, and see how the curves, it's just a difficult little space. I mean, an even more expensive way would be to do like beautiful like stones. There's 100,000 ways. This is really about weeding though. So if you've made a mistake, or even if you didn't make a mistake and you did the proper foundation for your rock walkway, you will still have weeds. So you can do your chicken run thing where you let them, your chicken tractor, let them do some weeding for you. If you don't have chickens, you can have children do it. Ha ha, just kidding. Last year, our first year here for spring really, I started pulling up everything, and I hope that y'all can see. I'm trying to find a couple. Oh, here they are. Let me go down here. Okay, this year I decided I planted some sedum, which is a very low growing thing, and I already have some natural something. This is some kind of succulent. I'm hoping this works good. You can see that it has those shiny waxy leaves, cute little flowers, and they're super low. So I'm being a little more discriminative about what I weed. I pull out these top ones, and my daughter is so funny. Yeah, sedum is awesome. My daughter pulled out some. Here's some of the good stuff I wish she hadn't pulled out. We've got some stuff here that's milky, and it's also low growing. We typically leave that now. We pull dandelions and these tall things, and my daughter thinks it's so fun to pull them out by the roots. So we pull those because those are the ones that'll just keep growing back, and they get so bushy. It's hard to show, but see, you get that height. It's just not as pretty. It's not as landscaped. So anyhow, we are being a little more discerning, not with the chicken tractor, but about what we're weeding. And the sedum hopefully will come in here. So those are some tips. If you're going to do a rock walk path, get your proper foundation, and then you will have to do some hard work. I don't make my chickens exactly free chicken feed. Cuts down on their feed quite a bit. They look a little distressed right now. They've been out here about an hour and a half, and it is getting sunny. I think they're more distressed because I'm not like hanging out with them. But I'm going to move them in a little bit because they have been in the sun for almost 2 hours, and I'll put them back in their regular run, or I may move them over to a shadier area. But this area is too skinny for a chicken tractor, and you can see the difference. Let's take a look. Cray cray. Normal. Yay. Now, the other interesting thing is in the spring, you would want to plant, or right before the spring, you'd want to put those sedum seeds down. And so what I'm also doing is, look, I missed one. I am picking the things I recognize as stuff I don't. And then there's random stuff. I know that one. I know this one. There's random things that I either think are cute or I don't recognize. And since I don't know what sedum sprouts look like, because I planted 3 different kinds, like a gold one, a red one, who knows what I did. Anyway, I planted them, so I can't weed all of this stuff because I think it might be some of the cool stuff I want to grow up. So when you're weeding and you're gardening, unless you're passionate about weeds, pace yourself, number 1. Be careful about UV. I know these sounds real basic, like why are you telling me this? But I think some people go and they get frustrated in gardening because if it's not perfect the first time, or if it's not beautiful every day, and nobody's garden is beautiful. All that stuff you see in the magazines is staged. I used to work in television and magazines. It's all staged. They don't employ chickens or their 5-year-olds or husbands. They get a whole crew to go out and make everything look gorgeous and take pictures, and everybody thinks their yard should look like that. I guess you could compare it to all the skinny models. Not everybody's skinny. I am in 9B in South Texas, just outside of Houston. We're hot, that's why everything's blooming. We're not super hot right now. But I want to just let y'all know, pace yourself. You want to take your months, like right now it might still be cold up in the north. It might be a decent time for you to go out. I did another video about preparing, like maybe putting some more mulch down if it's not snowy, getting your seedlings started, pacing yourself with gardening so you don't get frustrated. Think about what weeds are good weeds or bad weeds. It's your choice, what you want. If you want an area to be bushy and you like a certain type of wildflower, great. If you hate Dallas grass, no offense Dallas, pull it out. I don't know what this stuff is. It's everywhere. It's prolific. Luckily, these are annuals. Another tip with weeding for me, so this one, I'm trying to get my shadow out. This one was gorgeous. Let me see if I can eyeball one. Oh, here, it looked like this. It looked like the top of tiny carrots. But then when it starts to get ready to seed, it gets taller and bushier. It's also easier to pick. So I let it look pretty, and then I've been picking it so I don't get too many next year, because it could be thousands. I wanted the sedum to fill in. So that's a tip there. Let's see. Oh, also when you're saving or you don't throw your weeds away, save them for your chickens or compost. Okay, that way you have yummy dirt. Let me show you my compost bin, and I think I might wrap this up. If I walk down this path, oh, I have another tip for weeding. I think I said this earlier too. On a path like this where I have just the plants in the pots, this I use, and this leads me into the chemical thing. I use a salt and vinegar, white vinegar mix, and I spray it, and it lasts as long as Roundup, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, or like it'll kill what's growing. Excuse me. The only things that'll pop up next, in Houston we have this weird fern type of weed. So that fern type of weed will come because it likes the hot. I spray that because that's a new round of weeds. It's not that it didn't work, but it's not going to kill something that's, deep in there, little seeds or whatever. So then I spray those, and then in the fall we get a little more, I can't think of what it is, but it's something else kind of pretty, more of that low growing stuff, succulent type stuff. So if you don't want chemicals in your yard, you can try this vinegar and salt thing. I'm pretty sure I have it pinned on our Stevens Suburban Homestead Pinterest page. It might be in natural. So if you find Stevens Suburban Homestead board, you'll find me, Joy Stevens, Christine Joy Stevens. I have a natural board. So that's the recipe. It works. The Roundup is dangerous, y'all, because even if you don't care about chemicals, that's fine. I don't want to lecture you on that crap. Let's say you're okay with chemicals. You don't care if it's poison. Guess what? If it's windy, that stuff will kill everything. It killed some ligustrums of ours. It killed roses. If my kid had been standing there, it probably would have killed her. It's ridiculous. So, you know what? Even if you don't care about chemicals, if you have a yard that has pretty stuff you've paid for, you kind of want to be super careful not to use those strong chemicals. Here's our compost bin. We put leaves, weeds, old scraps. The veggie scraps apparently don't compost as much, but if you have chickens, they're super awesome because the chickens eat all the veggie scraps and fruit scraps. And if you want worms in your bin, the worms come in. Otherwise, it's just kind of natural degrading. So we have 3 bins. We're actually about to take these bins today, and we're going to take out some of the stuff on the top. You can kind of tell it's not all the way done, but there's going to be dirt underneath. So it's the benefit. I'm going to probably have enough dirt out of these 3 bins plus my spare to fill these 3 strawberry plant pot things. So that's pretty cool, free dirt. So the bottom line is, if you're gonna do a rock path, make sure you're smart about what you're putting underneath it, okay? This is the area. I know it's in the chicken run, so it might be misleading saying the chickens weeded this, but no, this is all stuff we put cardboard on before, and you can see there's not one weed after a year. That saves me a lot of time, energy, and I can put my love into the garden and growing things to eat. But as you saw, if you let it go, you'll have weeds and it's ugly, and they just keep seeding. That's the crazy thing. Oh, the last thing is, people talk about weeds in their yard and their grass. Even though you may not want to do it, like, we don't need to mow this because it's too long, but right now I can see, y'all probably can't, I can see tons of weeds mixed into our St. Augustine that are about to seed. So the key to keeping less weeds in your yard is to go ahead and do that early spring mowing once every couple weeks, even if your yard hasn't grown, because your weeds are growing, and if you can cut them before they seed, you'll have less weeds next year. And when you cut them, it draws the birds in, the squirrels and all that. So who doesn't want birds and squirrels rather than Roundup? There you go. Those are my tips. Not liking the brown though. Can you green it up? Well, brown? Where's the brown, y'all? Oh, you mean like in here? This is brown because it's our chicken run, maybe. But the rest of our grass is pretty darn green, y'all. Look. See, this is brown because we have the rock paths to walk on, and then the green is our grass area. But look, it's pretty darn green, y'all. I use compost tea and Epsom salt. There's also recipes on our Pinterest board about that. And I think this is pretty green for March 12th, y'all. I mean, most of the country's still totally dead. So I'm proud of this. I'm not proud of my dollar weeds, but my chickens and the fact that we're gonna mow, I think it's gonna be great. Thank you. We're trying to plant more food than lawn, but most of us in America have lawns. So we do need to keep track of it. And the less chemicals in the lawn, the better for our pets and ourselves. And I will say something about the green. Y'all don't be worried if you have, the brown. This is newer grass. This was all concrete when we moved in. It was really horrifying. This is also before we got more into permaculture, or I wouldn't have planted St. Augustine here. But this grass is clearly more weedy and more brown, but it is coming back. It was actually 100% brown, like dead. And as you can see, it is probably 60% green now. And so don't be impatient, or don't use tons of harsh fertilizers in the early spring. We did a compost tea, and this went from, like I said, all brown to like maybe half brown. We're gonna do another compost tea today, spraying it, and it will green up, and we're gonna add some of that Epsom salt. So don't resort to, this is a great view, perfect yard, not so perfect yard, but we can green this up, and we will. When you plant new grass, you got to be extra patient with it, and you want to let it grow deep roots. That's what happened. This was established yard. It had deeper roots, and we had a huge long 6-week drought about a month ago. So like a month ago it started raining again, but see, these didn't have deep roots, so they suffered more. Anyway, that's about weeding. You know, don't put too much time and effort every day into it, because you'll wear yourself out, and you want to have time for herbs and fun and enjoyment too. All work and no play makes for hiring yard men. Ha ha! Okay, peace out, y'all. Bye-bye.